That's awesome. Okay, I think we are live.
Oh my gosh.
Yes, okay. It doesn't beep anymore.
We are.
This on me. Hi, Gosia.
Hello, Sophie, all the way from Vancouver, Canada.
That's awesome.
How are you today?
I'm okay, I'm okay. You know, it's been an interesting, weird day with all kind of energies. So I thought we could talk about wrongness, how to use it to your advantage.
Oh, nice idea. Let's do it.
So
we'll see who will stay and watch our past first 5 minutes.
Yeah, so I mean, the first thing is how unwilling we are to be wrong. Like we do everything we can not to be wrong, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and there's a saying, most people rather be dead than wrong.
Right, exactly.
I think there's a little delay in a sound, honey.
There is a delay, and that's okay. That's okay. It makes things actually clearer. It makes so people can understand better what we're saying. But okay, so now today, what if we actually use wrongness to our advantage instead of being like, oh, I'm wrong, it's terrible, I'm wrong. What if we used it to our advantage?
Yes. So do you want to give some examples to people that go like, what? What? Advantage? I'm just wrong.
So for these people, okay, so how many people are making you wrong? And how much are you fighting the people making you wrong, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And
yeah, so
go ahead.
Yeah. Well, there's this weird thing, we all deep inside feel wrong. It's just somehow this first addiction, this basic underlying addiction and place we function from, we just feel wrong. And whether we feel wrong because we didn't make one of the parents happy or both of them happy, we didn't manage to heal someone, we didn't manage to save someone's life when they were dying, whatever it is, at some point in life, we make 1, 2, 3, 10, 100 decisions that there's something wrong with us because there's this causal reality, cause and effect, because we didn't blah, blah, therefore we must be wrong, I must be wrong. So we don't, most people walk around their whole lives not knowing that they actually have this deep-seated wrongness in them, and they do everything to prove that they're right. So everybody is going through life trying to prove that they're right while feeling completely wrong deep inside. So the only time they're right is when they're wrong. But what we want to talk about today is how can we actually use it to our advantage? First of all, recognize you're not really wrong. It's some strange idea we pick up from somewhere along the way, but there's no such a thing as being wrong. It just is what is, and everything else is a judgment, a conclusion, or whatever energy we pick up from others. So I would like to talk, how can we use it to our advantage? How can we actually make our life easier and living with other people around us easier while, and I don't want to use the bad word, the M word, but I will, the manipulation word.
Okay, so in access, manipulation, we say, is creating more for everyone, the person doing the manipulation and the person being manipulated, right? So in the end, how we use wrongness to our advantage is if somebody's making us wrong, telling them that they're right, that we are wrong, so therefore acknowledging them for what they're thinking, what they're believing, is going to be the manipulation. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. So for instance, if somebody tells you you're always late, oh, that's a good one. I just read an article about this on Facebook. So I'm often late, right? Mm-hmm. And so if somebody tells me I'm always late, and it's bad to always be late, I can say, yeah, you're right, I am late. You're right, I am late. you're right, I am late. And then I'm acknowledging the fact that they think I'm always late.
Rather than defending ourselves. Because
Yeah.
most people go into defense, even though they know the other person is right, they're correct. We have to defend ourselves, and we go into resistance and reaction when somebody states the obvious. You're late. So we go like, no, why is I? Well, sometimes I'm on time and I do my best. What I just this and this happened, and we go into this whole avalanche of excuses and explanations and reactions, rather than like, you're right, I am late. I am late all the time. And if you say it with your barrier, it creates a completely different effect than when you start resisting and reacting and trying to defend yourself. Because when you try to defend yourself and the other person has to push against it or feels bad for making you feel bad, and it's this whole whirlpool of weird energies, rather than you like, no point of view, that's the key. No point of view, absolutely no point of view. It's just like, yeah, you're right. You're right.
And I want to say something. Even if you are very upset that somebody telling you you're wrong, if you can find the space to say you're right, I'm wrong, the upset will actually go away. It just does, because suddenly you're like, oh, wow, that's possible. It's possible I could be wrong, and it's okay that I'm wrong.
Yeah, and it's the hardest thing. I actually started using it some time ago when I heard it first time. And I started using it, and I literally forced myself to use this tool because I so badly wanted to be right. I so badly wanted to defend myself and prove that the other person is wrong and I am right. And I just lowered my barriers and said, you're right. Oh my gosh, you're right. I'm wrong. I'm sorry, I'm wrong. And like, you know, I pretended that I really believed it, because this was the dissolve the conflict, or something that could turn into the conflict. And the other person, I've used it a few times since then, since the first time. Every time the person gets so like happy, and or they go like, oh, you're not wrong, oh, it's okay, you know, just things happen, or like, oh, I appreciate so much, oh wow, this is so awesome, like they get so shocked that you're actually willing to admit that you're wrong. And whether you believe it or not, you kind of have to at least sound like you do. And you have to lower your barriers, because we might know like the person is completely crazy and I know 100% I am correct. And what will happen? Will the world end if I said, right, I'm wrong? No, we still keep on going.
Well, okay, so actually, what if the person was not crazy? So, you know how I always use this example. When there's a car crash, right? There's a car crash, two cars hit each other, and there's one person on this side and one person on that side, and they both see the car crash, right? So that person will say, the car that came this way hit that car first, because that's what they saw. And then the person who's on this side, they'll say this car came. So they're both right and they're both wrong. So it truly is, wherever you're standing from, whatever perspective or point of view you have, you could be right or you could be wrong. Therefore, you could also be wrong and you could also be right. So to me, that's what the beauty of this tool, the beauty of saying to somebody who thinks you're wrong, you know what, you're right, I'm wrong, is actually kindness toward them, because you're acknowledging them, and kindness toward you, because you're not sticking yourself with either being right or wrong.
Yeah. What if we had no point of view about right and wrong? What if everything just was, and we're in allowance, and it was really irrelevant if it's right or wrong? It can be like, I look at it more like it might be correct, like correct information. It's not about being right. No, me being right, but I might be correct in this case. Like, the fact is, the war started in 1939, let's say. If somebody's telling me that it was 38, I know I am correct, you know, but I can say like, okay, you're right. Like, it doesn't matter, you know, or like I'm the greatest cook on the planet and somebody tells me, you know, your cooking really sucks. What am I gonna defend myself? It's like, no, I'm a great cook. I know what I know. I know I'm a great cook. Why would I even being sucked into any kind of conversation and trying to convince anyone? I actually am pretty good at cooking, and you know, I went to one of the best culinary schools. Not me, but you know, it's an example. So when you know what you know, like it's so irrelevant what the other person will tell you. But we go so fast into the defense and the fight and the war and the proving. It doesn't really change anything. It really doesn't, and it doesn't matter. And the two parties apart and more convinced about being right. So nothing got solved. Everybody holds grudge, and this is how we create separation on this planet. So what if right or wrong was just a judgment, was just an interesting point of view? Point of view. Am I seeing the clash from this side or this side? We both must be right. We're both totally wrong, you know? If we saw it from above, could have been completely different.
You know, I think we just resolved all the wars that were based on religion. We just solved them.
My God is better than yours.
My God is better than yours. So, okay.
My God is so much better. This is what people do, and they kill in the name of that. My God, it's getting better.
Okay, so that's awesome. I love it. Oh, did I lose Gosia? Okay. So the other thing is wrongness. Okay, so this is very weird. Okay. If you think you're wrong, then you have to know what's right. If you know what's right, that means you can be that energy. So when you're wrong, you're also right. Okay, so for instance, if I'm doing a festation and I feel like I suck at the festation, right? That means I can perceive what else is possible in the facilitation, and I'm simply making a choice of either giving that or saying something different. But a choice is neither right nor wrong, so it's both right or wrong. So basically, yes, you will never be wrong.
You'll never be wrong.
1 equals 2, okay? So you can never be wrong, because if you think you're wrong, that means you know what's right.
Brilliant. Yeah. Very similar energy to, it's very similar energy to what if you could never fail and you always succeeded? So what if you were success at losing jobs or switching jobs, or always be on the lookout for a new job? What if success at finding new boyfriends, you know, many new boyfriends, or I can't keep one? Or what if you're very successful at, you know, spending a lot of money? You know, what if we always look at ourselves as actually somebody who is doing brilliantly, is brilliant at something that normally would be just reality. Like, I'm really good at, you know, not completing the tasks on time. I'm really good at it. I'm a master of not keeping the deadlines. And I've been like killing myself for years trying to do it. And I realized like I'm really good at not. And I stopped making myself wrong. And I actually now it's much easier to complete everything on time, because I don't have to go against myself. I just acknowledge it. This was possible here.
That's brilliant.
And when yeah, the same with being on time. Like I always was like, I had big problem being late, always being late. It's like, I'm amazing at being late. And then it's like, what if I was just right on time, like on the exact time? And I started looking at this, what if the timing was ideal every time I show up somewhere? And it's like miracles started happening. I ran into people at the right time, the right place. I was late, but the other person, you know, I was early and the other person was early, or I came early. And if I didn't come early or late, something else would happen. Like all the synchronicities started showing up in my life the moment I got out of the wrongness of something that is so judged in this reality. So would you be willing, guys, to kind of explore all the places you've been judging yourself for and see if you can twist it and manipulate it and change it into not a wrongness, but a strongness, success, and something that's right about you rather than wrong about you. What else is possible?
What else is possible? This is really good. I hope people listen to this over and over, because I can think of like 15 instances during the day where I'm like, oh my gosh, I should have done this different, or I shouldn't have done this, I shouldn't have done that. So if we just can remember what you just said, it's awesome. It's just awesome. I was telling people this morning that, you know, my little trick now is on my list of things to do for the day, I write, do not do this, and then I make the list. So I'm always wrong. I always fail because I do all of it.
I love it. I love it. So if any of you do not know this tool, this is the best way to actually make humanoid person motivate. Like, no matter what, don't do it. Don't. When you tell the kid, don't go there, they're like, where? And they go straight there. Or like, don't eat it, and they're like, what? And it's like, this is the nature of a humanoid. When you tell someone not to, you have to do it. So this is Sophie's brilliant example. Like, no, don't do this, and because she's not supposed to do it. So if you have every single one, you're so wrong for completing all your tasks.
It's true.
And what if we're like, two things?
I know 2 days that I've been doing this and it works.
Awesome. I love it. I have to try it. It's like kind of like my people, I found it like days later, like, how did it happen? And every time I realized, I think we talked about it last week, that I've been catching myself off in trying to create from the wrongness and from the judgment. And I really made a huge choice and being diligent about catching myself on these places and moments when I do make myself wrong and turn into question possibility and what's right about this. So things have been showing up in such a different way when I started doing that. So I invite you too to see like all the places that you've been trying to create something in your life or change something in your life from the judgment. We actually cannot. We have no capacity to change something from the judgment. We can change anything and everything from question, from different choice. And when we ask questions and we choose something else, different possibilities will show up. But when you just keep judging ourselves, we're always right. When you say like, I'm stupid, you're right. I'm always late, you're right, you're gonna be always late. I'm always like running into stupid people, customer service, or like mean people at customer service, or unhelpful or useless people. This is exactly what you're gonna create. And I started catching myself even more. Like I was like, oh my gosh, I have so much to do. And I start freaking out in my head because I had so much to do. I was like, what if all of this was easy? What energy, space, and consciousness can I be to complete all of this with the total speed of space and total joy? And before I knew it, everything was completed and done without like even thinking of freaking out. It's the freak out about it or the stress about it that builds the whole avalanche and domino effect of, you know, having too much to do or more and more things showing up, or something like suddenly shows up that's totally not on your list and you have to dedicate so much time to do that. Because we have the point of view, I have so much, and this was my mantra. I have so much work, I have so much work, I have so much, like months, if not years. And I was like, and I always felt like I'm always behind. I never felt like I accomplished anything, even if I did 1,000 things in a day. And I always had so much work to do. It's like, oh, I've been creating so much work, so much just here in my head. It was not real, the reality. Because we humanoids can accomplish things in a miraculous, fast, speed way. It just was here to have so much to do. So no matter what I did, I also had so much to do. Do. Not be, not just be and enjoy. Do. We do a lot of do.
All right, so it almost feels like right and wrong, doing, not a being. Is that right?
Yeah. What for? Just yeah. Like,
so then
what
when
if we instead of do, we could be?
Yeah. So when
if you just be, like if you just be, is that right or wrong? If you just be.
We're not wrong. Oh my gosh, this is so cool. So when we be, we can be wrong when we be.
Look at the tree. Is the tree ever wrong or right? It has beautiful. Is it then in the winter that it has no leaves and it's wrong? No, it doesn't exist in the nature. It's only us, humans and humanoids, human beings, invented the right and wrong, the polarity. There's no polarity in nature. Okay, you have summer and winter, you have drought and you have water and flood. You have polarity of more like opposite side of what it is, but nothing is ever wrong. Even is a flood wrong in nature's point of view? It's in our point of view, it's wrong if it floods our homes, let's say. But nature's point of view, it floods because it has to, release some water because there's too much water in the river, let's say, because of the snow that melted from the mountains. And that the tree that starts growing and the roots start, breaking our house. Is it wrong, or it's just doing what it's doing? It's us who make it wrong because it costs us money to fix it and so on, right? The tree has no point of view; it just grows because this is where I want to grow. I'm gonna put my roots out. Human function like in the universe. They just do. They can behave weird in a social setting, and we're like, oh, you can't do this, and they're like, what? They just did what they did. If they burn, or they, said something inappropriate, but there's just no wrongness. At some point, so what is the point in life when we start having this point of view, this idea of wrongness? I wonder, it just occurred to me. Like, at what point we get wrong?
Well, that's Adam and Eve, isn't it?
The original one, huh? The original, what I call it, the original judgment.
Yeah.
This is the first time that somebody was made wrong. Mm-hmm. And I call it the original judgment, not the original sin.
Yes, that's the original judgment. That's and so whenever that story came up, that's probably when right and wrong showed up.
Very interesting. And this is real to this. Huh?
Long time ago. I mean, to me, actually, it's from the moment that we were asked to be in this reality instead of where we came from. Mm-hmm. That's when we had to adopt the polarity, otherwise we couldn't function in this reality, right? But where we came from, we knew that there was no polarity.
So what would it take to bring that back into existence?
I think it starts with the C.
Yes. An O. An N.
Oh no, you said, that's funny. You said consciousness. I said choice.
Oh my gosh. That's funny.
I love it. Both choice and consciousness.
Yeah. So what if our choices, what if we started making more conscious choices every day? Not choices coming from automatic pilot and the programming from the past, but from consciousness, from a place of knowing this, what you create. And if it's light, you follow the lightness, you create more consciousness on the planet. And I know the definition of consciousness includes everything without judgment. Yet, if we had more consciousness on the planet, would we have wars? Would we have conflicts? Would we rape the earth? Would we destroy?
It's funny. I posted recently about how anger or feeling angry was not necessarily wrong, that it may be the energy required, right? So to me, yeah, I mean, a conscious choice, maybe I have to get angry right now to change this. And sometimes it'd be like, okay, I'm done being angry. Like to me, the not holding when you don't hold on to one point of view, then you can choose, you can change. It's all good.
Yeah.
When you hold on.
And if you don't make it wrong, like anger, this is what's required. Sometimes it's totally required with the kids or with someone, like be the energy of anger when they don't want to help you somewhere. And you have to have this intensity that feels like anger to other people. And you might just use this energy without any point of view. The same with kids. Like notice if I have this energy and I be this energy, they suddenly listen to me. I have no point of view. This is what's required. And they're like, oh, you'll be like, yes, I have. No wrongness. And I'm calm and peaceful in her. Before I'd be like, I was so wrong. I yelled at my babies. Oh my gosh, I'm so horrible mama. Now it's okay, guys. You want me to really yell at you? I want to like listen to me without that. And they do.
That's funny. That's funny. Yes. Okay. Wow. I feel like a lot of energy just dropped. So I feel like people want to know how to make conscious choices.
That's a great question. And what is conscious choice for everyone? For me, it's really what feels light for me, what feels good to me. If I go against my knowing, if I go into something that's heavy, but maybe I figured out with my head that it should be right, it never works out well. If I follow the lightness without trying to figure it out and justify it or trying to explain it, if I just follow the lightness, it's just miracles show up and happen. And I started because I always thought like, oh, I follow the lightness all the time, but I realized how much I don't. Like now, even this pair of shoes or this pair of shoes with me. Which one do you want to comb? Which one is lighter? Oh, this pair is lighter. Okay. Which do you want this outfit? Like little small things like this. Do you want this type of tea or this type of tea? Like we can actually follow the lightness from the smallest things in life, in everyday life, to this huge choices, big choices in life. Like, do I want to marry this person or not? What's lighter? If I marry this person, what will it create? Oh my God, I feel like my whole body just shrunk. Or maybe if I marry this, and there's this expansion and this lightness, this beautiful, happy, joyful energy, go and happy and joyful, and your life will start expanding and be easier, because we can create from the heaviness too. It's just way more difficult, and it not might be as fun and as miraculous as it would be if we followed light and followed the knowing. So for me, this is conscious choice. I don't know, how is it for you, honey? What is conscious?
It's actually following my body. So for me, is my body actually guides me. So whether it's a direction to go to, my body gives me a sensation that reminds me of something, or my body wants to eat, wants to drink, wants to talk, wants to do whatever. So I like to follow my body. Usually my body will tell me ahead of time. And if I don't, then something not bad, but unpleasant happens with my body, like stress in my back, or falling, or just not feeling well overall. That's because I didn't listen to my body and I didn't make the choices that my body was indicating. So that to me is how I do it. And I love to show people how to follow their body's guidance. I think it's really fun. Really fun.
I like it. I like how you describe it. For me, the lightness is like the lightness shows up in my chest, in my everything just opens up here. So for me, the body too, that knowing that. I love how you said it, like something, if you don't follow it, your body immediately takes a fit. Doesn't feel right.
one of the most fun job I've done. I was supposed to talk to this guy a month later, and then suddenly I'm in front of my computer writing this email to this guy when I'm not supposed to talk to him for another month. But I sent him this email and he says, I'm so glad you contacted me today because I just heard that the project is starting in a week. If I had waited in a month, I would not have gotten the job. So my body actually kind of made me type this email to this guy. And it was like, yay, body. You know, so
Amazing. That's it.
I really like listening to my body. That means sometimes I go like in all directions in the house. Sometimes I'm sitting in one place. Sometimes I work out. Sometimes I don't. It's never consistent either.
Yeah. So what if we had no like received, ideas about what's right, what's wrong, and because your body likes something 2 or 3 times, it doesn't mean it's gonna like it the 4th or the 5th time, because the body changes mind all the time. I've noticed it too. And let's go for a run. Then it's yoga. Then it's like just lay on the floor and enjoy, or go hug a tree, whatever it is. And I rather follow that than try to like, oh my gosh, I didn't move much this week. Maybe the body doesn't require too much movement this week because there was so much energetic movement that actually requires peace and quiet and relaxation. So I really like following the body rather than what I know I should do, what the body should do. It's amazing.
Oh my gosh, today was Global Bars Day, wasn't it?
Yes, honey. Have you noticed something weird in your head?
Yeah, that's why I've been feeling like this all day.
I realized that when I went for a walk and was walking next to the hotel, I actually walked in a hotel with global headache. And it's like, my God, I have this weird headache all day long. It's like, is this headache? Because it was like, this headache was like here. I was like, that's not a weird headache. That's like control, creativity, creating connections, creating life, like literally. And then it's like, oh, it moved. And then I was like this. It was like, oh, that's totally aging. But I had this intensity. It's like, oh, am I running the bars of all the people in the board, global bars class? And I was like, yeah, dummy. Because I was like, oh my gosh, must be Wi-Fi, must be the energy, must be the people around me. I've been like asking questions like, what is it? Until I got it when I went there, and it was so intense. I felt my head is exploding. And once I acknowledged my bars are running, it's like, oh yeah, bars are running, cool. Run ahead, run away, have fun.
Yeah. Wow, that's amazing. Okay. All right, so just for us, what that meant was that we were connected to this amazing class taking place in Vancouver. We were not in the class, but we know a lot of people who were there, and we know the process they were teaching. So we felt with our bodies that a huge energetic shift was happening. And our bodies were trying to tell us something. And now I'm realizing, oh, wait a second, this is what's happening. There's a huge energetic shift right now, because every time they do a global bars class, the whole world changes.
Yeah. No, I totally realized that how aware our bodies are, and whether we're in the class or not, we're getting the change from what the brave ones and the courageous ones and the ones that chose it or are doing. We still are getting the change. The whole world is getting the change. I was so grateful. I was like, oh my gosh, like it actually feels good now. Once I recognized what it was and acknowledged, it feels good. From like weird headache to like, oh my gosh, it's a really intense bar session.
Okay.
Also.
All right, now that explains a lot. So maybe also, if you feel wrong, maybe there's something going on in the world that you're aware of. So maybe ask your body, hey buddy, what are you aware of? Okay, that could be a good one too.
Yeah. What are you trying to tell me? It's a great you're trying to tell me. What are information are you giving me? This is one of my favorite questions. Something is wrong, and you go into wrongness, like something hurts. More like, what information are you giving me? You know, your knee suddenly hurts. What information? Whose knee hurts? Like, I know it's not my knee. I know it's somebody around me. It's like, okay, you don't have to do anything about their body. it's not wrong. You're just giving me information. Someone's knee hurts in the area. So a lot of problems with my body went away when I started acknowledging, and it's just my body giving me information, talking to me through the intensity that I was calling pain and wrongness and being sick. So
yeah, bodies are awesome. All right, Gosia, I think you are asked to be in another physical place right now, so I'm going to bid farewell until next time, my friend.
Thank you, darling. Hugs all the way from Vancouver to you and everyone who watched us. Thank you, honey.
Have a blast this weekend, and I know it's going to be amazing. I can't wait to hear. And have a wonderful weekend, and have a great time, everyone who's watching this. Thank you so much, and we'll see you soon.
Thank you, Sophie. Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye.